I didn't like that band necessarily. I said, well, I like Eddie's guitar playing. It's genius, right?
The biggest rock band in America just fired their lead singer. No warning, no backup plan, just chaos. It's April 1985, and Van Halen are staring at a future nobody can predict. Stadium Kings 1 minute, headline disaster the next. The press smells blood. Fans are furious. The machine that printed hits suddenly looks fragile. And then, in the middle of the night, fate flickers across a television screen. A red Ferrari, a highway patrol cop, a voice that can hit notes most singers wouldn't dare touch. Sammy Hagar.
And I started singing, and they're looking at me like, whoa, you can hit that note? Yeah.
At 2 a.m., slightly drunk and running on instinct, Eddie Van Halen makes a decision that could either save the band or finish it for good. One phone call, one gamble, one reinvention that would divide fans for decades. This is how rock's most dangerous comeback began. In 1985, Van Halen wasn't just struggling, they were on the edge.
But I don't like their image. I don't want to be like that. So let's see what they want from me.
But rewind 1 year and it's a totally different picture. 1984 had blown up the charts. Jump was massive. It was everywhere. Stadiums packed tight, fans screaming every word, the band looking larger than life. They weren't just successful, they were dominating. It felt like nothing could slow that machine down. But behind the spotlight, things were cracking. David Lee Roth, the flashy frontman with the wild style, was butting heads with the rest of the crew. Big personality, big attitude, and it started clashing hard. Tension built up, show after show. Then April 1st, 1985 hit, and this wasn't a prank. Van Halen announced Roth was out, just like that. The impact was heavy. Fans were stunned, some were angry. The press went wild, throwing out rumors and wild guesses about what really went down. Tour dates got canceled. Thousands of fans were left holding tickets with no show to see. It turned into a full-blown PR disaster. The band that looked untouchable was suddenly scrambling to survive. They had no time to sit around. If they didn't move fast, they'd fade out. So they launched a desperate search for a new singer. Anyone with serious range and stage presence was on the radar. Jimmy Barnes from Cold Chisel got consideration. Eric Martin, who would later front Mr. Big, was in talks. They even discussed Patti Smith to shake things up with a bold new direction, but nothing clicked. Nobody felt like the right fit. The pressure kept building. Every day without a singer felt like another crack in the foundation. Van Halen didn't just need talent, they needed a spark, a real one. And while they were grinding through auditions, fate was lining up something wild. The answer wasn't in a boardroom or a studio. It was about to flash across a TV screen. Late that night, at 2 a.m., Eddie sat there exhausted, flipping channels, mind racing. The future felt uncertain. Then, boom! Sammy Hagar pops up on screen, getting pulled over for speeding in his video. In that blurry, alcohol-fueled moment, something clicked in Eddie's adult brain. It wasn't random. It felt like timing. Without overthinking it, he grabbed the phone. That call would echo through rock history. Years later, Hagar remembered the moment clearly. He said, "I told my wife they're gonna call me, and she goes, 'God, I hope not.' She hated that band, but Hagar knew better. I said, 'Who else are they going to call? There's only a few guys that can sing at that caliber.' And just like that, everything started shifting. The deal came together fast, almost too fast. Manager Ed Loeffler pulled off something nobody saw coming. Sammy Hagar wouldn't just be the new guy. He'd keep his solo career and step into Van Halen as an equal partner. Full writing credits. A clean 25% cut of everything. Equal share, no side seat. That was unheard of for a replacement singer. It showed one thing loud and clear. Van Halen wasn't playing around. They needed the right voice, and they were willing to bet big to get it. On July 4th, 1985, Sammy walked into 5150 studio for the first real meetup. Fireworks outside, electricity inside. What started as a casual jam turned into a 3-hour explosion of sound. Out of that session came Good Enough, which would later land on 5150. Alex and Michael were locked in right away. They weren't just impressed, they were fired up. Sammy had range, control, and he handled himself like a pro. By August 1985, the contracts were signed. It was official. The Red Rocker was in. But let's be real, it wasn't an easy yes. Hagar had just wrapped a long, exhausting tour. When Eddie first reached out, Sammy made it clear where he stood. He said, "I just got home from a tour. I ain't gonna do nothing tomorrow." He wasn't desperate. He wasn't chasing anything and stepping into David Lee Roth's spotlight. That was serious pressure. Roth wasn't just a singer. He was a full-on showman. Flashy, loud, bigger than life. Sammy had his own lane, his own fans, his own hits. Joining a band that just lost its iconic frontman felt risky. Why jump into chaos when your solo career is steady? The offer felt powerful, like plugging into a live wire. Big potential, big danger. For Van Halen, Sammy looked like a lifeline, a reset button, a way to prove they weren't done. But for Hagar, it meant putting his own empire on pause. In the end, the music decided everything. When Sammy finally agreed to jam, something shifted instantly. He later said, "As soon as we started jamming, everything changed. I started singing to it, making up words. They all got excited. Oh man, this guy can sing." That was it. No overthinking, no boardroom talk, just raw sound clicking into place. In that moment, a new version of Van Halen came alive. Still, not everybody was cheering. Some fans were loud about it. One outspoken critic said, "Van Halen without David Lee Roth is like a cake without frosting. It might still taste okay, but it's missing the best part." That line spread fast. Media outlets piled on, predicting a crash. A few critics claimed the band would never hit the same heights without Roth's larger-than-life presence. The doubt was everywhere. But inside the band, something different was building. A chip on the shoulder, a quiet confidence. They knew this was new territory, and yeah, it was risky. But they believed in what they were creating. And Sammy? He didn't back down from the noise. He embraced it. He later admitted, "I liked the controversy. If you want to get down to it, I thrived on it." That energy wasn't fear. It was fuel. One thing was clear. The whole world was watching. Fans were waiting. Critics were circling. Everybody wanted to see if Van Halen could actually pull off the impossible and reinvent themselves in the studio. While the noise outside got louder, the band made a bold move. They stepped away from their classic party sound and leaned into something unknown. Inside Eddie's messy home studio, a different Van Halen was starting to form. But change like that always comes with a price. The shift was serious. The Roth era had been all about wild party anthems and flashy guitar fireworks. Now Sammy brought in a smoother, more melodic vibe. Eddie pushed keyboards to the front instead of hiding them in the back. Bigger hooks, stronger choruses, songs with real emotion. Sammy's vocals opened the door for powerful ballads, not just high-energy rockers. Alex and Michael tightened up the rhythm section, building a stronger backbone to hold up these more layered arrangements. It wasn't just a tweak, it was a transformation. They locked themselves inside 5150 Studio, Eddie's chaotic hideout. The place was cluttered, loud and raw, empty beer bottles on the floor, cigarette butts and ashtrays, cables everywhere. It wasn't pretty, but it was real. In that messy space, the band started the tough process of rebuilding their identity from scratch. This time, the writing process changed too. It wasn't just Eddie steering the ship. Everyone had a voice. Ideas bounced around the room. They moved away from simple party tracks and aimed for deeper, more layered songs. Eddie's guitar work became richer and more textured, less showing off, more feeling. Sammy's lyrics shifted toward personal themes instead of over-the-top showman lines. The tone felt grown up, focused, intentional. Producer Ted Templeman saw what was happening. He noted they were determined to prove they could make serious music. Not just party hits, but songs with weight. The early sessions weren't smooth, though. Hagar's bluesy rock style clashed at first with Eddie's intense guitar wizardry. You could feel the past hanging over them. The Roth era was like a shadow in the room, daring them to fail. But then something clicked. During one loose jam, Sammy started belting lyrics over a mid-tempo riff. No plan, no pressure, just instinct. The room lit up. You could feel the shift instantly. The tension turned into momentum. As days rolled into weeks, that new sound started to lock in. It felt bigger, more mature. Eddie's songwriting stretched beyond fast solos and tapped into deeper emotion. The chaos didn't break them. It pushed them into a whole new lane. The haunting melody of Love Walks In gave Hagar goosebumps, but don't get it twisted. The road to reinvention was rough. Behind the scenes, tension exploded between producer Mick Jones and engineer Don Landy. It got so bad that one day Landy locked himself inside the studio and threatened to destroy the recordings. 24 hours of pure chaos. The band's future hanging by a thread. One wrong move and months of work could have vanished. The pressure was crushing. Every note felt like it carried the band's survival on its back. After months of long nights, arguments, rewrites, and second guesses, 5150 was finally finished. They sat there listening to the final mix with nervous energy buzzing in the room. They had pushed into new territory, new sound, new identity. There was no turning back now. Judgment Day was coming. Career suicide or genius move? That was the question when 5150 dropped on March 24, 1986. Van Halen had gambled everything on a new voice and a new vibe. Early reviews started rolling in, and they hit hard. Doubt everywhere. Eddie Van Halen later admitted, "Those were some of the darkest days of my life. The fear was real. Had they blown it? Then something shifted." Why Can't This Be Love started catching fire on the radio. At first, people were confused. This wasn't the old Van Halen sound. It was smoother, bigger, more melodic. But it was catchy. You couldn't ignore it. The hook stuck in your head. Word spread fast. Curiosity started beating out skepticism. Fans gave it a second listen, then a third, and then the numbers hit. Against all the noise, 5150 debuted at #1 on the Billboard charts. Within a month, it moved over 3 million copies. That wasn't a quiet win. That was a statement. By July, it was certified multi-platinum. The critics who predicted a crash had to watch the band soar instead. Van Halen didn't just survive, they leveled up. Sammy Hagar's gamble paid off in a huge way. The band stacked up hit after hit, landing 9 #1 rock songs during that era. It felt like a second life for the group. Hagar later reflected on it, saying, "It was a mind-blower to have the success that we had with that record, a second run for the band. It was kind of a miracle in rock and roll. That kind of comeback doesn't happen often. But success always comes with a cost. Long tours, internal pressure, personal battles no one sees." Hagar also admitted, "The bad shit doesn't carry with me. Even during the high points, the grind never really stopped." The Van Hagar years proved that being on top doesn't mean it's easy. It just means the stakes are higher. In the end, Van Halen showed the world something powerful. Reinvention isn't weakness, it's survival. They faced doubt, criticism, and serious risk, and still came out swinging. Their legacy isn't just about hits and platinum records. It's about resilience, about betting on yourself when everyone else thinks you're done. If you enjoyed this deep dive into rock history, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. Drop your thoughts below, Team Roth or Team Hagar, and I'll catch you in the next video.